Hey everyone, and welcome back to DevOps Corner. Today, we're going to tackle a big one, Amazon EKS. We are going to walk through how you can go from, well, absolutely nothing to a fully running Kubernetes cluster on AWS. And the best part? We're going to do it the easy way. So if you're ready for some DevOps goodness, make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button. Now, let's dive in.
So we all know Kubernetes is amazing, right? It's incredible for running containers at scale. But here's the catch. What about the Kubernetes control plane itself? You know, the brains of the whole operation. Setting that up, keeping it healthy, backing it up, that's a ton of work. It's what people in the cloud world call undifferentiated heavy lifting. It's work you have to do, but it doesn't actually make your application better. It just steals your focus from what really matters, building cool stuff.
Well, this is exactly where Amazon Elastic Kubernetes Service, or EKS, steps onto the scene. It's AWS's answer to this whole problem. It's a managed service that's specifically designed to take all that heavy lifting right off your plate. Okay, so what does managed really mean in this context? It means AWS is on the hook for creating the master nodes, scaling them when they need more power, and handling all the backups for you. But here's the really critical part. EKS is certified Kubernetes conformant. Now, that might sound like jargon, but it's a huge deal. It means EKS is running pure upstream Kubernetes. So if you've got stuff running in your own data center or even another cloud, you can move it to EKS with practically zero code changes. It just works. To really get your head around EKS, you have to understand this fundamental split. On one side, you've got the control plane. This is the brain. It lives in a special network that AWS manages completely. All the patching, scaling, high availability, that's their problem, not yours. Then, on the other side, you have the data plane. This lives inside your network, your VPC. This is your playground. It's where your containers actually run, and it's up to you to provide the compute power, whether that's with EC2 instances or maybe serverless with Fargate. So the simple way to remember it is, AWS manages the managers, and you manage your apps. Now, when you decide you want an EKS cluster, you're standing at a fork in the road. There are two paths you can take. There's the manual, click every button, configure everything yourself path. Let's call that the hard way. And then there's a much simpler path, the easy way. We're going to take a quick peek at the hard way just so we can truly appreciate how awesome the easy way is. Okay, so if you're feeling adventurous and chose the hard way, here's what you'd be doing. First, you'd need your AWS account. Then you'd have to create a virtual private cloud, a VPC, which is your own little isolated corner of AWS. Next up, you'd need to create a special IAM role with all the right permissions for EKS to work. Only then could you actually create the control plane. But wait, you're not done. You still need to create a node group of EC2 instances for your worker nodes. And to top it all off, you'd have to manually configure your kubectl tool on your laptop to talk to this new cluster. Phew! Yeah, just looking at that list is kind of exhausting, right? As Nana from Tech World puts it, that's a lot of effort. It's a whole bunch of steps, and you need to know your way around a bunch of different AWS services just to get to the starting line. But here's the good news. You don't have to do any of that, because, as you've probably guessed, there is a much easier way to do this. So let me introduce you to the hero of our story today, XCTL. It's a simple little command line tool, and it's actually the official recommended way to create and manage EKS clusters. It was developed by Weaveworks with AWS, and honestly, it's a total game changer. So why is it so great? Because it takes that entire, long, complicated laundry list of manual steps we just saw, and it boils it all down to one single command. EKS CTL create cluster. That's it. It uses a bunch of smart, sensible defaults to do everything for you. And of course, if you want to tweak things, you can easily customize it. And this is what that looks like in the real world. Instead of just the basic command, we're adding a few flags. We're just telling it, hey, give me a cluster named test cluster. Use this specific Kubernetes version and stick it in the Frankfurt region. We're even defining our worker nodes, saying just give me 2 small T2 micro instances to play with. All the important details right there in one line. So simple. So while you're off grabbing a coffee, what is AKXCL actually doing for you behind the scenes? Well, it's basically your personal AWS robot. It's running through all those manual steps, creating the network, firing up the control plane, setting up an auto-scaling group for your worker nodes, and then, and this is my favorite part, it automatically creates and saves the kube-config file right on your machine so you can connect to your new cluster immediately. No fuss. So you run that command, wait a few minutes while AWS works its magic, and that's it. Seriously, Your cluster is ready to go. No complicated setup, no manual steps. It's time to see the proof. And boom, there it is. The process finishes, and because EKSCTL already configured everything for you, you can just type kubectl get nodes, and you'll see your 2 worker nodes up, running, and ready for action. Just like that, you've got a fully functional Kubernetes cluster waiting for your apps. But wait, the story gets even better. When you're all done experimenting, cleanup is just as easy as setup. One single command, EKSCTL delete cluster, will tear down the entire environment, the control plane, the worker nodes, the network, everything. Anyone who's ever forgotten a running EC2 instance and gotten a surprise bill knows just how huge this feature is. It's amazing. All right, let's bring it all home. What are the big things to remember? First, Amazon EKS takes care of that complex Kubernetes control plane for you. That's the undifferentiated heavy lifting. Second, the XKCTL tool is your best friend. It automates everything, letting you get a cluster running with just a single command. And what's the point of all this? The bottom line is it lets you focus on what actually matters, building and deploying your applications, not messing around with the underlying infrastructure. And that really leads us to the final and most important question of all. Now that all that infrastructure complexity is handled for you, now that it's this simple to get started, what incredible things are you going to build? Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me today on DevOps Corner. I really hope you found this useful. If you did, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and maybe share it with someone else who could use it. It really helps the channel grow. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.